Okay. Hello, everybody. I just wanted to jump on here because I was thinking about that vicious cycle that we get in when we try to get back to working out. And maybe we go to the gym or go to an exercise class, and the next day or the second day after we've done that workout, we are extremely sore. And it only usually takes a couple sessions of that to happen. And we end up kind of quitting and saying, hey, this is a little bit too difficult. It's making me actually feel worse, or you're feeling other pains pop up in your body. And then that kicks you back into the cycle that you don't necessarily continue with those workouts or going to that exercise class because you're back in pain. So I was thinking about this myself because I went to an exercise class a little bit more intense than I usually do on my own. And I'm feeling a lot of soreness right now. So I'm going to kind of make a comparison for you between muscle soreness and injury. And then we'll also decide how they're different so that you can also use kind of reflect back those questions on yourself. If you've tried an exercise class or worked out hard, have some soreness, and you're trying to differentiate whether you caused an injury or it's just regular muscle soreness, because that's often a question I get asked as a physical therapist when I'm treating my clients. So first things first, I'm gonna point out some similarities. And so that is how pain acts in your brain. Okay. So basically what happens in your brain when you get when you have something that is painful is your brain immediately says no, stop. Okay. So it kind of puts the brakes on, and that is protective. That's what your body is supposed to do. And so if we take an injury and let's say you hurt your back reaching and bending down for something, your body remembers that. And so the next time that you go to reach down and bend for something, it's going to say no, stop, right? It's going to send a pain signal, which is going to tell you no, stop. That same thing can present after you've maybe lifted weight in the gym and you've created some muscle soreness along your back muscles, and you go to bend over, or maybe you feel in your hamstrings, right? That's often we feel soreness in our hamstrings. We go to bend over, right? And we're super sore from our workout. We're like, oh no, no, stop, right? We come out of it. Maybe we're trying to stretch out, but it just doesn't feel right. Um, similar thing, similar pain. What you've done with working out is you've overloaded your muscles to create that physical stressed response, which is literally muscle fibers tearing apart, causing some injury so that you can rebuild new ones. Now, an injury, a strain happens a little bit more dramatically. You get those fibers pulling apart a little bit more. And what can also tend to happen is you can get subsequent cramping of the muscles, and then you can start to really lose motion in the joint itself. Like if we're talking about the back, it just does not want to let go. So the similarity is that you're causing the same stress to the muscle, just in a different grade. Okay, injury versus working out and provoking muscle soreness. This is how you figure out if it's true injury to where you need to really pull back or kind of push through and get that range of motion back on your own. It's easy as this. You try it a few times. If the pain gets worse, that's when you stop. If the pain gets better, that's when you continue to go. Here's an example from my input. I did a lot of abdominal work yesterday, and I usually have a ton of flexibility to be able to, or I usually have a good amount of strength to be able to go from lying down to sitting up. And usually I can do it easier than that. Now that I have some muscle soreness sitting in those muscles, guess what? They actually don't want to work very hard. So I'm having to instead, I'm having to, you just saw me kick a leg and use momentum to sit up. And it's even hard for me to kind of, guide my way back down. So I'm going to listen to my body. I'm probably not going to push much core work today. But where I could have gone wrong is to avoid mobilizing and bringing blood flow to that area. So this is something that I was doing before, trying to stretch my back. And you know what? As soon as I dropped my belly down, I felt that stretch. My mind tells me, no, stop. Okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try it a couple times, because that's a motion that I need to do. I need to be able to do that when I want to be able to do it. All right. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through small repetitions and breathe, reminding my body that nothing is inherently wrong. And a motion like this isn't going to hurt me, although it's sending a pain signal. It's nearly impossible to hurt yourself in a position like this. And slowly, I'm going to work to bigger motion. And what that does to me right now, because I know this is muscle soreness, is that feels better as I go. But I will tell you, it wouldn't feel good if I were to go into that big motion right out of the gate. So here is the biggest thing that I want you to take away from this is whether you have an injury or strain, okay, depending on how long it's bothered you, obviously seek help. But if it's the first few days, the very first thing that you want to be able to do is introduce a little bit of motion. Same thing when you're talking about muscle soreness. The next day, you want to introduce a little bit of motion. So say you even roll your ankle. Okay. Research shows now after an ankle sprain, maybe you're swollen, maybe it's really, truly looks very, very injured. Okay. Here's what you're going to do the next day is you're going to start with little gentle circles, slight motion, right? And as that tends to feel better, you're going to increase the range that you're going through. Okay. And if it's an actual injury, you're probably going to make smaller incremental changes. Whereas if it's just muscle soreness, you're going to be able to get that range back probably in a matter of minutes. But the point being, what I want you to understand is where people get so tripped up is they think that pain signal that's being sent throughout their body is, the last bit of that is to stop. Right? But what I want you to know is you've got that conscious control over that pain signal, and you tell your body, actually, I'm going to try this a couple times. Okay. And let's see how that goes. And so you're taking the fear out of it and you're saying, I'm in control. Although it's painful, I'm going to try this movement a couple times. And guess what? As you do each movement, your body gains confidence, and the muscles start to work better. Okay. So point being, after I stretch my abdominals like this, guess what? That weakness that I felt from muscle soreness has now gotten better. I can better utilize the muscles and I'm going to recover quicker. And no, I don't need any outside help from ice or heat or anything like that because I'm generating those things within my own body, which is super cool. I hope that helps.